The alien generals looked down from the high gallery, their eyes sharp and unblinking. Below them stretched the simulation field, a jagged landscape of broken rocks, deep pits, and uneven ground. Smoke drifted from hidden vents in the floor, and artificial storms could be seen forming in the sky. The humans were tiny against the scale of the arena, but the generals studied them carefully, their long fingers tapping on control panels. "Do you think they will last?" one of the older aliens hissed in a voice like grinding metal. "Not a chance," another replied, his mandibles clicking. "They are weak. This terrain was made to break them in hours, maybe minutes. They do not belong here." From below, Tom, Anna, and Sarah stepped forward. Their boots crunched on the sharp stones. They paused at the edge of a deep pit, looking down at the jagged rocks far below. Tom squinted and nodded to the others. He brushed a lock of dark hair from his forehead and checked his equipment one more time. "Looks worse than I imagined," Anna said, her voice calm but firm. "But we've trained for this." Sarah adjusted her pack and scanned the area with sharp eyes. "Keep your focus. The terrain will test us more than anything else." The humans moved slowly, carefully. Every step was deliberate. The pit before them seemed designed to intimidate, but none of them flinched. Each of them knew the rules. The simulation was more than a test of strength. It was a test of thinking, of reacting, of surviving in impossible conditions. The alien generals leaned closer to their observation screens. One pointed to a large jagged rock where the humans were standing. "Look at them. They don't even hesitate," he said. "They are so small, yet they face this as if it were nothing. How unusual." Tom spotted a narrow ledge that ran along the edge of the pit. "We'll take that path," he said quietly. "It's risky, but it's faster than going around the whole pit." Anna nodded. "I'll cover you if anything comes from above." Sarah frowned and studied the terrain. "It might not be just the ground. Watch the vents. Smoke or gas can come at any moment. Stay ready." They moved carefully along the ledge. The wind howled around them, carrying the smell of ozone from the simulation's power grids. The ground shook beneath their feet as small eruptions of energy flared from hidden vents. The humans did not stumble. They balanced, adjusted, and moved forward, their eyes never leaving the path ahead. Below, the aliens murmured among themselves. "How can they stay so calm?" one asked. "Every other species would panic." Another general clicked his tongue. "Perhaps their nervous systems are different. Or perhaps they are fearless." "No, that cannot be. Fear is part of life. They must be reckless." "They are more than reckless," the first replied. "There is calculation behind it. Look how they move. Every step is careful, yet they advance with confidence." "I do not understand." The humans reached the end of the ledge and faced a wide chasm. A bridge made of unstable planks spanned the gap. It creaked under the weight of anyone who stepped on it, but it was the only path forward. Tom tested the first plank with his foot. It wobbled but held. "One at a time," he said. "Don't rush." Anna went next, her hands gripping the sides. The plank bent but did not break. She moved smoothly, her steps precise. "It's holding," she said. Sarah followed, taking her time. The plank shifted, but she adjusted her balance and reached the other side. The three humans were safe, and the alien generals blinked in surprise. "They survived the first obstacle," one said softly. "Most species would have fallen. Most species would have screamed." "They are different," another said. "We expected them to break under the first challenge. Yet here they are." The humans took a moment to catch their breath. They were not exhausted, only focused. Tom looked around the simulation field and pointed toward a cluster of jagged rocks in the distance. "That's our next target. There are hazards there, but we can use the rocks for cover." Anna nodded. "We move together. Watch each other's backs." Sarah adjusted her pack. "And be ready for anything. The AI will change the conditions at any time." As they moved, small hazards appeared. Jets of smoke hissed from hidden vents. Sparks flew from the ground. The humans reacted quickly, ducking behind rocks, rolling past bursts of smoke, and staying close to one another. The alien generals leaned forward in their seats. Their screens showed that the humans were using the terrain in ways the AI had not predicted. "They are not just surviving," one general said. "They are using it. They are turning danger into advantage." "Impossible," another said. "No species could think so quickly under such pressure. Look at them. They anticipate every hazard." Tom climbed onto a larger rock and looked back at the others. "Careful with the vents," he said. "Some of them are pressure sensitive. Step wrong and it could knock you down." Anna took a deep breath. "Then we step carefully. That's all we can do." The three humans moved across the jagged terrain, alert but calm. Every step was precise, every motion calculated. The alien generals were silent for a moment, watching intently. None of them had expected the humans to advance so quickly, so efficiently. One general finally spoke, his voice low and tense. They are learning. Faster than they should. Faster than logic allows. They are Deathworlders, another said quietly. Raised on harsh planets. Adaptability is in their blood. But still, this is extraordinary. Smoke billowed from the vents and small explosions shook the ground. Tom, Anna, and Sarah did not panic. They moved together, covering each other, signaling with small hand gestures. One vent erupted dangerously close, but Anna pushed Tom aside and jumped over the flare. Sarah grabbed a loose rock and threw it to stabilize her footing, landing safely. The alien generals watched every movement. One muttered, "No species has ever reacted like this before. Not even the best warriors in the galaxy could survive half an hour here with such calm." Another general shook his head. "It is almost human arrogance. Or perhaps human courage. I cannot tell the difference." The humans reached a small plateau at the center of the simulation arena. From there they could see most of the field. Smoke, sparks, and moving hazards covered the terrain. The humans took a moment to observe. Tom pointed to a narrow ridge on the far side. "We need to get across that ridge. It looks unstable, but we can do it if we move carefully." Anna nodded. "Let's go. Keep your balance and watch the vents. Do not rush." Sarah looked toward the ridge. "And be ready for any surprises. The AI likes to throw them when you least expect it." The humans advanced, their movements steady and precise. Small obstacles appeared, but they adjusted, helping one another, using the environment to their advantage. Each hazard they overcame seemed to make them more confident. The alien generals leaned closer, their mandibles clicking nervously. "They are not just surviving," one said. "They are thriving. Even in a place meant to destroy them, they are finding ways to move forward." "They are exceptional," another admitted quietly. "I have never seen anything like this." The simulation began in full force just as the sun of the artificial sky reached its highest point. Machines of all shapes and sizes appeared across the jagged field, their metal bodies gleaming, their eyes glowing red. Some moved on many legs, skittering over rocks. Others rolled like huge spheres, crushing anything in their path. Small drones hovered above, scanning for movement, while larger war units fired energy pulses across the terrain. Ben crouched behind a broken rock, peering over the edge. Lucy was beside him, holding a simple but sturdy weapon adapted for the simulation. The two of them glanced at each other, silent but understanding what had to be done. They were not the fastest or the strongest, but they were clever, and cleverness would be their greatest weapon. "Here they come," Lucy whispered. Her voice was calm, even as a group of small, spiked machines rolled toward them. Ben nodded. "Use the rocks. Force them to fall into the pits." The humans moved quickly and quietly. They kicked loose stones toward the machines, making them hesitate, confused by the obstacles. When one machine paused over a pit, Ben struck a lever, releasing a hidden trap. The machine teetered, sparks flying from its joints, and then tumbled into the deep pit below. Lucy clapped softly. "One down." The other machines approached, faster this time. Sarah and Tom joined them, positioning themselves to guide the machines toward natural hazards. Together, the four humans moved like a single organism, predicting where the machines would go, forcing them into the terrain rather than trying to attack them head-on. High above, the alien generals leaned forward, their long fingers drumming on the control panels. They expected the humans to panic, to scatter, to fall apart. Instead, the humans adapted instantly, using the environment as their weapon. "They are thinking differently," one general said, almost in disbelief. "They are not fighting like soldiers. They are fighting like hunters." Ben noticed a large rolling drone heading toward them, its sensors glowing brightly. He grabbed a loose piece of metal from the ground and angled it so the sunlight reflected in its direction, temporarily blinding the drone's sensors. Lucy seized the moment, tossing a small rock at the same time. The drone wobbled, its circuits overloading slightly, and it crashed into a pile of debris. Tom laughed softly. "Good work. Keep moving." The humans ran along a narrow path, dodging explosions and falling debris. Sparks flew from the ground as some machines tried to attack directly. Emily and Jack covered the rear, making sure no human was left behind. The coordination was perfect, natural. Every move seemed practiced, yet spontaneous, almost instinctive. The alien generals exchanged worried glances. No species has ever survived even half a day in this simulation, one hissed. Yet they are not only surviving, they are winning small battles we never expected. Anna pointed toward a cluster of jagged rocks ahead. We can use that for cover. Machines can't climb there easily. The group moved as one, weaving through hazards, using every obstacle to their advantage. When a machine tried to flank them, Lucy rolled a large boulder down a slope, blocking the machine's path and sending it crashing into smaller units. Ben set another trap, forcing a series of machines into an unstable pile of rocks that collapsed on top of them. Every attack the humans made was measured. They were careful not to waste energy or take unnecessary risks. Each move had a purpose, each step planned. Yet there was creativity in their tactics that no machine, and apparently no alien, could predict. In the control room above, one of the generals clicked his mandibles in confusion. They are using improvisation. Every obstacle is turned into a weapon. How can they think so fast? Another general shook his head. Their brains must work differently. This is beyond training. This is instinct and cunning combined. Hours passed. The sun of the artificial sky began to lower, casting long shadows across the simulation field. Machines continued to surge, but the humans were never caught off guard. Ben noticed a small drone moving silently above them. He grabbed a reflective piece of metal from the ground, angling it toward the drone's sensors. The drone's optics were momentarily blinded, and it spun out of control, crashing into the rocks. Tom helped Lucy over a deep fissure in the terrain. They worked together seamlessly, balancing and pulling each other to safety. Every hazard that would have stopped another species only made the humans more alert, more ready. Emily whispered, "It's like they want to break us, but the more they try, the better we get." Jack grinned. "Exactly. They expect fear. They expect panic. But we don't give them that." As evening approached, the humans took a brief rest behind a cluster of large rocks. They were sweaty and tired but not beaten. Around them, the simulation machines regrouped, forming new patterns, preparing for another assault. Ben checked his equipment. "We've done well today. But tomorrow will be worse. These machines will adapt to us, so we have to adapt faster." Lucy nodded. "We know how to survive. That's our strength. Use your head, trust each other, and we'll make it through." Sarah looked at the horizon. "And remember, we are small, but that doesn't mean we are weak. We just have to be smarter." High above, the alien generals watched in silence. The room was quiet, the kind of quiet that comes from disbelief. No one had expected the humans to survive even one full day, let alone coordinate, improvise, and defeat multiple machine attacks designed to destroy them. "They are remarkable," one general admitted quietly. "Every species has limits. Every species has weaknesses. But these humans, they adapt. They survive. They thrive under pressure." Another general muttered almost angrily, "No species should be able to do this. It's against logic, against probability." And yet, here they are. The humans rested only briefly. They knew the simulation was not over. The machines would keep coming and the terrain would continue to challenge them. But each obstacle had taught them something. Each encounter had strengthened their coordination and their confidence. By the end of the first day, they had survived attacks that should have crushed them entirely. Ben looked at Lucy. "Not bad for the first day." Lucy smiled faintly. "We've only just begun." Tom, Anna, Sarah, Emily, and Jack joined them. They were tired, scratched, and dirty, but they were unbroken. Every small victory had built their confidence. They had turned traps into advantages, threats into tools, and fear into focus. The alien generals were silent now, staring at the screens. One of them finally said, his voice low, almost reverent, "They have survived the first day, against odds no other species could face. Perhaps, we underestimated them too much." The humans exchanged quiet smiles, unaware of the admiration above. They had survived, adapted, and worked together. They were still alive when others would have fallen. And in the hearts of the alien generals, a quiet understanding began to grow. These humans were far more dangerous and far more extraordinary than anyone had imagined. The second day began with the sky of the simulation arena turning dark and heavy. Artificial clouds formed overhead, and a steady rain began to fall, mixing with acidic fog that hissed when it touched the jagged rocks. The wind howled across the terrain, pushing debris and making the ground slippery and dangerous. Machines moved in groups, their glowing sensors scanning through the fog. They seemed faster and smarter than yesterday, adapting to human tactics. Jack stood on a small rise looking at the field. Beside him, Emily adjusted her jacket, keeping it tight against the rain. "The terrain is worse than yesterday, Jack said, his voice barely audible over the wind. We need to split up if we want to survive. Emily nodded. We'll divide into teams. One team sets traps, the other team draws the machines into them. Quick, quiet, and coordinated. The humans moved with careful precision. Ben, Lucy, and Tom stayed together, scouting paths while Anna, Sarah, Jack, and Emily prepared traps. Loose rocks, fallen debris, and small pits were all turned into hazards for the approaching machines. They worked quickly, silently, communicating with small gestures or whispered words. High above, the alien generals leaned forward, their eyes narrowing as they observed the humans. One of them clicked its mandibles in frustration. They are dividing themselves, it hissed. That should weaken them, make them easier to destroy. Yet they move with precision. It is impossible. Jack signaled to Emily, and the two moved along the edge of a shallow ravine. The machines did not notice them at first, but as the humans approached, they lured the nearest unit into a trap. Emily dropped a pile of rocks over a narrow ledge, sending it tumbling toward the machine. Sparks flew as it collided with another unit, causing both to stumble. That worked, Jack said quietly. Keep moving. Meanwhile, Ben and Lucy had led a group of machines toward a series of deep pits covered by weak planks and rocks. The machines fell one by one into the traps, struggling but unable to climb out. The humans moved carefully around them, using the environment to their advantage. Sarah and Anna guided another wave of drones toward a rocky corridor. A hidden spring of water created a slippery surface, making the machines slide into a cluster of jagged rocks. Each movement of the humans was deliberate, their thinking fast and flexible. From the observation gallery, one alien general muttered in disbelief, "They are using the environment. Every obstacle, every hazard, they turn it into a weapon. No species has ever done this before." Another alien clicked its tongue. It is more than cleverness. They predict, adapt, and improvise in real time. The simulation was designed to crush them, yet they survive and even gain advantage. The rain fell heavier, mixing with acidic fog that hissed as it touched the ground. Visibility dropped, making it harder for the humans to see the machines. But they had learned to move carefully, listening for vibrations in the ground, watching for shadows and predicting machine behavior. Jack crouched beside Emily behind a large rock. We can't just wait. We have to force them into our traps. Emily nodded. She picked up a piece of metal and angled it to reflect the weak sunlight, temporarily blinding a hovering drone. The drone wobbled and crashed into a pile of debris. That's one, Emily whispered. Tom, Ben, and Lucy advanced carefully along another path, drawing attention from a group of larger machines. They shouted and waved to make the machines follow them. Once the machines were in position, Sarah and Anna triggered a series of traps, sending rocks and logs rolling down toward the units. The machines toppled, struggling but unable to escape. The alien generals remained silent, watching the humans with growing unease. No species has survived even half a day in this simulation at full capacity, one hissed. Yet they have survived the first day and now, this. They are adapting faster than the AI can predict. Jack led his small team toward a narrow ledge overlooking a deep chasm. We can use this, he said. If we push the smaller machines off the edge, the larger ones will hesitate. Emily nodded and they worked together, guiding the machines carefully. A small drone slipped, fell and tumbled into the chasm, sparks flying. The other machines paused, confused by the loss of one unit, giving the humans enough time to escape and reposition. Ben and Lucy had found another opportunity. A large, slow-moving war machine lumbered toward them. The ground around it was covered in small, unstable rocks. Ben kicked a rock and it hit the machine's leg, causing it to wobble. Lucy then pulled a vine-like cable from her pack, wrapping it around the machine's leg to make it trip. The machine toppled with a heavy crash, and sparks flew from its damaged circuits. The humans were careful to avoid unnecessary risks. Every step, every move, every distraction was calculated. They were not reckless. They were adaptive, thinking in ways the AI could not anticipate. From above, one alien general muttered, "They defy all logic. Every action they take is calculated, yet spontaneous. They survive in conditions meant to destroy them." Another alien clicked its tongue. "They are not just surviving, they are controlling the battlefield. We designed the simulation to overwhelm, yet they make it their own." The humans regrouped briefly behind a high ridge. Rain poured down and acidic fog drifted between rocks. The machines were regrouping too, moving cautiously as if aware the humans had the advantage. Jack looked at his team. "We've done well today, but the machines will learn. They'll adapt faster now. We need to keep moving, stay one step ahead. Emily adjusted her gear. We will. We've already proven we can handle it. Just stay focused. The humans moved carefully along the ridge. They set small traps and lured machines into them, using their knowledge of the terrain to stay ahead. One small mistake could cost them, but each member of the team watched the others, covering blind spots, helping when necessary. Sarah whispered to Anna, "They think they can predict us, but they can't. The AI cannot match our thinking." Anna nodded. "Exactly. We survive because we think, adapt, and improvise. That's what makes us human." Machines surged from a nearby valley, charging toward the humans with glowing red eyes. Tom and Ben moved forward to draw attention, while Emily and Jack triggered traps, causing rocks and debris to fall. Sparks flew, machines tumbled, and some units were trapped in pits. Every move was precise, every step calculated. The alien generals watched in growing alarm. "They are turning the hazards into weapons," one hissed. "Every move is a counter to the AI strategy. They are not just surviving, they are winning small victories." "Impossible," another whispered. "They should be losing units by now. And yet, they adapt, recover, and gain advantage." The third day began with the sky over the simulation arena boiling with dark clouds. Lightning flashed across the artificial horizon, striking the jagged terrain below. Explosions erupted from the ground without warning, and the fog that had started yesterday now twisted into thick acid-laced smog. The machines were faster, smarter, and far more aggressive than before. Some fired energy pulses, while others charged, rolling and leaping over obstacles with terrifying precision. Sam crouched behind a broken boulder, checking the horizon. Kate was beside him, her eyes scanning every movement. "This day is going to be worse than the last two combined," Sam said quietly, his voice low but calm. "We need to be smart, fast, and unpredictable." Kate nodded, adjusting her pack. "Exactly. We can't just react anymore. We need to force them to react to us. That's how we survive." They split from the main group, moving toward the left flank. Exploding terrain erupted around them. Sections of the ground blew apart as they stepped, sparks flying into the fog. The humans moved carefully, knowing that one mistake could mean instant defeat. Sam and Kate signaled with small hand gestures, guiding their team silently. High above, the alien generals leaned forward, watching closely. The room was quiet, tension filling the air. One general whispered, "They are splitting themselves again. That should weaken them." Another general shook its head slowly. "Yet they move with confidence. Their actions are not random. They plan, adapt, and anticipate the AI's moves." How is this possible?" Sam spotted a cluster of drones moving in formation toward their position. He pointed to a narrow ridge nearby. "We lure them over that ridge. Once they are on the unstable ground, we take them down." Kate nodded. "I'll cover the back. Make sure no one sneaks behind us." The humans moved as one. They used every rock, every crevice, and every vent in the terrain to their advantage. When the first drone stepped onto the ridge, Sam and Kate triggered a hidden trap, causing a small landslide that destabilized the drone. Sparks flew as it wobbled, then crashed into the rocks below. The alien generals watched in silence. "No species has ever manipulated terrain like this in real time," one whispered. "Every move is precise. Every risk calculated. It is terrifying." Explosions erupted nearby, shaking the ground. Machines of every shape and size surged toward the humans. Some were large, heavily armored units, while smaller drones swarmed in the air. The humans split into smaller teams, each moving unpredictably, flanking the machines from different directions. Sam and Kate moved toward a deeper chasm, drawing a group of machines with them. "Follow me carefully," Sam whispered to the others. "Don't rush and stay low." The machines charged, following the humans' movements, their glowing sensors locking onto them. But the humans had prepared the ground. Loose rocks, fallen debris, and narrow ledges forced the machines to stumble and slow. A few units fell into pits or crashed into one another, giving the humans room to maneuver. Kate spotted a larger drone moving to intercept them. She grabbed a jagged metal shard and threw it at a nearby control panel embedded in the simulation terrain. Sparks flew, temporarily disabling the drone's targeting system. It spun in place, confused, and crashed into a cluster of rocks. Sam smiled slightly. "Nice work. Keep moving." Meanwhile, on another flank, Jack and Emily led a small group of humans to lure machines into a narrow canyon. Jack jumped onto a high rock, signaling to the others. "Push them into the trap," he shouted. Emily and Sarah used ropes and loose debris to create small avalanches, sending machines tumbling into the canyon. Sparks and smoke filled the air as metal bodies collided. The humans moved carefully, using the chaos to their advantage. The alien generals were silent, unable to speak for a moment. One finally whispered, "They are not just surviving. They are controlling the battlefield. They are bending the simulation to their will." "How is this possible?" Sam noticed a machine trying to flank from behind. He called quietly, "Kate, left side. Push it toward the vent." Kate acted instantly. She kicked a loose rock near a vent. Steam shot out, forcing the machine back. Another machine followed, slipping on wet rocks and crashing into the first. Sparks flew and the humans advanced safely. Every move the humans made was careful, calculated, and creative. They never rushed, but they always stayed ahead. They read the AI's patterns like a book, predicting what it would do next and turning every attack into an advantage. Emily whispered to Sarah, "They think we will fall, that we are just reacting. But we are making them react to us." Sarah nodded. "Exactly. We survive because we adapt. Every day, every hazard teaches us something." Ben and Lucy had set up another clever trap. They guided a group of rolling war machines toward a narrow bridge that stretched across a deep pit. One misstep and the machines would fall. As predicted, the first unit slipped, and its heavy body crashed into the pit. The others hesitated, unsure of the unstable terrain. The humans used the hesitation to move forward, avoiding confrontation entirely. The alien generals leaned closer to their panels. One hissed, "No species could anticipate every move of the AI. Yet these humans do. They adapt faster than logic allows." Another general muttered, "They are unpredictable. And yet every action has purpose. We cannot simulate this. We cannot control this. They are beyond our calculations." As the day went on, the terrain continued to shift violently. Sections of the ground exploded without warning. Acidic fog thickened, making visibility almost zero. Machines surged in every direction trying to trap the humans. But the humans stayed calm. Every small movement, every shift in position was deliberate. They used the chaos to confuse the AI and manipulate the machines. Sam and Kate led a bold flanking maneuver, moving through the fog and rain to attack a group of machines from behind. They worked in perfect coordination, guiding the units into unstable ground, where rocks and debris caused them to topple over. Sparks flew, metal twisted, and the machines fell in ways that no AI had predicted. Jack and Emily coordinated a trap on the other side of the arena, using a combination of pits, loose debris and narrow ledges to disable a group of drones. Even the larger, heavily armored machines struggled to keep up with the humans' tactics. The alien generals were silent. One clicked its mandibles slowly, almost in disbelief. "No species has ever fought like this. They are faster than the AI can predict, smarter than the simulation allows, and more coordinated than logic permits." Another added, "We designed this simulation to overwhelm, to crush every species that enters. Yet these humans, they bend the rules without breaking them. They survive, adapt, and control the battlefield." The humans regrouped briefly behind a high ridge, wet, tired, and bruised. Their clothes were soaked from the acid rain, and small cuts covered their arms and faces, but they were not defeated. They had learned every hazard, adapted to every machine attack, and turned every obstacle into a weapon. Sam looked at Kate. "We've made it through the worst of the day. But we can't slow down. The AI will learn from our moves." Kate nodded. The humans were cornered. The simulation had thrown everything it could at them. Exploding terrain, relentless machines, shifting hazards, and unexpected traps. Smoke and sparks filled the air, the acidic fog clung to every surface, and the jagged ground threatened to trip them with every step. Despite all this, the humans were not broken. Their breathing was heavy, their clothes torn, their hands scraped and cut, but their eyes were sharp, focused, and alive. Tom crouched behind a large rock, surveying the area. "This is it," he said quietly. "The central command is just ahead. If we take it, the simulation ends. But we have to move carefully. One mistake now and it's over." Anna nodded, adjusting the strap of her pack. She glanced at Sarah, who was limping slightly from a minor injury. "We can do this," Anna said. "We've survived everything so far. We just need to stick together and stay smart." Jack and Emily moved to flank the remaining machines, keeping them distracted while Tom and Anna prepared for the final assault. "We draw them away," Jack said. "Give the others a clear path." Ben and Lucy checked the traps they had set earlier. Small piles of rocks, loose planks, and hidden pitfalls littered the ground. "It's now or never," Lucy whispered. "Use everything." The group took a deep breath and advanced cautiously. Every step was deliberate. The machines nearest them roared and charged, but the humans were ready. Sam rolled a small boulder, knocking a machine off balance, while Kate triggered a pit trap that sent another unit tumbling. Sparks flew as metal collided with jagged rocks, but the humans pressed forward, undeterred. High above, the alien generals watched, their antennae twitching in tension. One whispered, "They are cornered. They should have no chance now." Yet they advance as if nothing can stop them. Another clicked its mandibles softly. "I do not understand. No species should execute such coordination under this pressure. They are extraordinary." Anna looked at Sarah, whose leg was bleeding from a scrape caused by falling debris. "I've got you," Anna said, lifting her carefully. She carried her teammate on her back, moving steadily despite the uneven ground and hazards around them. Every step was calculated, keeping balance as the machine surged closer. Tom moved beside them, pointing to the path ahead. "Follow me," he said. "The main defenses are just up ahead. Stick to the rocks. Avoid open ground." The humans moved like a single unit. Each person knew their role. Jack and Emily kept the machines distracted. Sam and Kate disabled incoming drones. Ben and Lucy triggered traps along the way, and Anna carried Sarah, keeping her steady. The teamwork was seamless, the coordination near perfect. A large war machine charged directly at them, its sensors glowing brightly. Tom grabbed a nearby metal rod and used it to redirect the machine toward a trap Anna had set. The machine stumbled, sparks flying, and fell into a pit. The humans did not pause. They pressed forward, knowing that hesitation could cost them everything. Emily whispered to Jack, "We've survived everything the simulation could throw. This is just the last step." Jack nodded. "Then we finish it. Together." The path to the central command was filled with hazards. Exploding terrain, electrified vents, and unstable platforms tested their every step. But the humans moved carefully, predicting the AI's moves and using them to their advantage. When a section of ground exploded ahead, Sam and Kate rolled forward, using the blast as cover to disable another machine. Anna adjusted her hold on Sarah, steadying her as they navigated across a narrow plank over a deep pit. Sparks from nearby machines reflected in the acid fog, creating strange shadows on the ground. Anna ignored it, focusing only on the path and the team ahead. Tom signaled for a brief halt. He surveyed the last stretch of the battlefield. The central command was visible, glowing with energy, surrounded by the remaining machines. "This is it," he said. "Once we take that command, the simulation ends. But we have to act fast and smart." Jack and Emily moved to create a diversion, drawing the machines away from the central command. Explosions and rolling debris kept the units busy, giving Tom and Anna a clear path. Ben and Lucy positioned themselves on either side, ready to trigger the final traps. Sam and Kate flanked from the left, guiding the remaining machines into unstable ground. The humans moved quickly, silently, efficiently. Anna carried Sarah steadily, avoiding pitfalls, while Tom coordinated their movement with quiet gestures. Every step was calculated, every hazard anticipated. The remaining machines were powerful and dangerous, but the humans stayed calm. High above, the alien generals were silent. None had expected this. They had designed the simulation to destroy the humans, to break their spirits, to crush them physically and mentally. Yet the humans advanced, unbroken, unafraid, unstoppable. One general muttered softly, "No species should have survived this far. They are beyond prediction." The humans reached the final approach. Sparks flew as drones charged at them, but Sam and Kate intercepted, sending the machines tumbling into traps. Jack and Emily triggered rocks to fall, creating barriers between the humans and the remaining enemies. Anna adjusted her grip on Sarah. "Almost there," she whispered. Tom nodded, signaling for the group to move as one. The humans advanced, dodging the last attacks. They moved with speed and precision, each one covering the others. Ben tripped a final trap, sending a cascade of rocks onto a machine, completely disabling it. Lucy moved quickly to cover the rear, making sure no drones approached unnoticed. Finally, they reached the central command. Tom moved forward, pressing a panel on the glowing console. Lights flashed across the arena, signaling the simulation's end. The machines stopped, frozen in place, their attacks halted. The terrain stabilized and the dangerous hazards disappeared. Anna carefully set Sarah down. She breathed heavily, exhausted but smiling faintly. "We did it," she said. The other humans gathered around the central command, some bleeding, some bruised, all tired but alive. They had survived every trap, every attack, every hazard the simulation had thrown at them. Against impossible odds they had prevailed. High above, the alien generals stared silently at the scene. One finally spoke, his voice low and filled with awe. They have done the impossible. They have survived every hazard, every machine, every attack, and they have won. Another whispered, almost reverently, we underestimated them. We thought they would break. We thought they would fail. And yet, they have proven themselves beyond anything we imagined. The humans did not notice the alien admiration above. They were too focused on each other, checking on injuries, sharing quiet smiles, and breathing in relief. They had survived, adapted, and triumphed where others would have fallen. Tom clapped Jack on the shoulder. We made it. Together. Emily nodded, leaning against a rock. Every hazard, every trap, it just made us stronger. Anna helped Sarah to her feet. We knew we could survive. That's what mattered. Sam and Kate exchanged tired but proud glances. We survived, Sam said simply. Nothing else matters. The alien generals remained silent, watching the humans as they celebrated their quiet victory. For the first time, they realized that humans were unlike any other species they had ever encountered. Brave, intelligent, resourceful, and relentless. No AI, no simulation, no hazard could predict what a human would do next. And in the simulation arena, under the fading light of the artificial sun, the humans stood together, exhausted but triumphant. They had faced the impossible and survived. They had proven once again that no matter the odds, humans could adapt, endure, and conquer. The simulation ended. The air in the arena shifted suddenly, the smoke and sparks clearing as the hazards disappeared. The ground stabilized and the fog lifted, leaving the jagged terrain calm and still. The machines that had threatened the humans for 3 long days now stood motionless, their attacks halted, their sensors dark. The human cadets stood together, exhausted, battered, but triumphant. Their clothes were torn, their skin covered in cuts and bruises, and their boots were caked in mud and debris. Some leaned on each other for support, some wiped sweat and grime from their faces. Every one of them was breathing heavily, their chests rising and falling as they tried to recover from the intense ordeal. Jack sank to one knee, looking around at the battlefield. Sparks from the machines had faded, and the acid rain had stopped. He glanced at Emily, who was leaning against a rock, her face streaked with dirt and grime, but her eyes shining with determination. He whispered softly, "We just did what we had to." Emily smiled faintly. "Yeah, that's all we could do. That's what makes us human." Tom moved over to the central command, brushing off debris as he stepped forward. He looked back at the group. "We survived the simulation," he said, his voice calm but proud. "All the hazards, the machines, the traps, nothing could stop us. And we did it together." Anna helped Sarah stand fully upright, brushing mud from her arms. "It wasn't easy," Anna said, "but we made it. Every one of us did their part, and that's why we're here." Ben and Lucy walked over to join the others, looking around at the calm battlefield. 3 days, Ben said softly. 3 days of danger, traps, machines, and yet here we are. Alive. We survived. And we didn't just survive, we won. Sam and Kate exchanged glances, both smiling faintly. "We adapted," Kate said simply. "That's what made the difference. Every obstacle, every hazard, every attack made us stronger." High above, the alien generals observed quietly, their long limbs folded and their antennae twitching. They had watched the humans for 3 full days, expecting them to fail at every step. Yet the humans had endured. They had survived impossible terrain, overwhelming machine attacks, and unpredictable hazards. And now they stood victorious. One of the alien generals finally descended slowly from the observation gallery. Its long fingers tapped against the console as it approached the humans. "We designed this simulation to destroy all cadets, to test every species to its limits," it said in a low, metallic voice. "Yet you survived. You adapted. You improvised. You overcame. No other species has ever done this." Another general joined, lowering its head slightly. "Your courage, your coordination, and your ingenuity, it is exceptional. We underestimated humans. We assumed weakness and we were wrong. You have earned respect that few species ever receive." The humans looked at each other, uncertain what to say. They had survived the impossible, but the alien praise was something new. Jack raised his gaze to the generals. "We didn't do it to impress anyone," he said quietly. "We did it because we had to survive. Because we had to stick together. That's all." Emily nodded. "We didn't plan to prove anything. We just did what was necessary." Anna added, "Strength is important, yes. But surviving, surviving requires more. It requires thinking, courage, trust, and heart. We have all of that and we relied on each other. That's why we made it. The alien generals listened in silence. One of them, the eldest and largest of the group, finally said, "It is rare to see a species so small survive against such impossible odds. Yet humans do not rely solely on strength. You survive through thought, through instinct, through teamwork, and through courage. You are remarkable." The humans, despite exhaustion, felt a quiet pride. For 3 days they had faced everything the simulation could throw at them. Exploding terrain, unpredictable hazards, relentless machines, and shifting landscapes had tested them at every step. But they had survived. Not because they were the strongest, but because they were clever, adaptable, and willing to fight for each other. Sam looked around the group, taking in the bruised faces, the tired eyes, the mud and blood covering their bodies. "We survived together," he said quietly. "That's what matters most." Kate smiled faintly. "We didn't give up. Not once. That's why we're here." High above, the alien generals murmured among themselves. "They have proven that survival is more than brute strength," one said. "It is ingenuity, courage, and the bond between individuals. Humans are unlike any other species we have encountered." Ben, still breathing heavily, looked at Lucy. "We pushed through everything. And somehow we made it." Lucy nodded. "Every hazard, every attack, we turned it into an advantage. That's what makes us humans. That's how we survive." The alien generals descended further, standing before the humans in silent acknowledgement. No words of command, no ceremony, just a nod of respect. The gesture was simple, but it carried weight. These small, fragile-looking beings had survived what no one else could. They had faced a simulation designed to kill, and they had triumphed. Anna looked at the generals. "You don't need to say anything," she said. "We don't need praise. We only need to know we survived. That's enough for us." One of the generals inclined its head. "You have survived, adapted, and excelled where others failed. That is respect enough. Know that your species is exceptional. That your courage and ingenuity are beyond measure." Jack placed a hand on Emily's shoulder. "We just did what we had to," he whispered. "Nothing more, nothing less." Emily nodded, looking around at the group. "We survived, and that's what counts. Strength is important, yes, but survival is more than that. It's thinking, it's heart, it's courage. And we have all of that." The humans gathered together, forming a circle in the calm of the arena. They were battered, bruised, and exhausted, but alive. They had survived 3 days of the toughest challenges imaginable. The alien general stood a few steps away, silent, observing them with a respect that did not need words. Sarah leaned against a rock, wiping the sweat and grime from her face. "We did it," she said quietly. "All of us. Together." Tom looked at the horizon, where the simulation sky had cleared, and the artificial sun shone dimly. "We survived the impossible. That's what matters. Not just strength, but courage, teamwork, and heart." Anna smiled, adjusting her grip on Sarah's arm. "We relied on each other. We adapted, we thought, we survived. That's humanity. That's why we made it." The alien generals finally began to retreat to the observation gallery. Their nods of respect were slow, deliberate. They had witnessed something extraordinary. Humans, small and underestimated, had survived every challenge, every attack, every hazard. They had triumphed not because of sheer strength, but because of ingenuity, courage, and heart. Emily turned to Jack one last time. "We did what we had to," she said softly. Jack smiled faintly. "Exactly. That's enough." The humans stood together for a moment, taking in the calm arena around them. 3 days of battle, 3 days of surviving the impossible, 3 days of proving themselves against odds no one thought possible.